Next, let us discuss what is the dependence of amplitude and phase on the frequency of the applied force. How amplitude and phase changes when the applied frequency changes. So there are three cases which can be broadly classified over here. The first case is when the applied frequency is very small compared to the natural frequency of the body. If we consider the equation for amplitude and phase, and if you see that if applied frequency P is very small when compared to omega, so P square will be very small. So if P square is very small, omega square minus P square will be almost equal to omega square. So if this is very small number, this is almost equal to omega square, and here 2BP will be almost equal to 0 because this is a very small number. So the amplitude equation will change as A is equal to F by F, and this is a very small number. Here also the omega square minus P square will be equal to omega square. So omega square whole square and the square root will be equal to omega square. So this is how amplitude equation will change. Though the system oscillates with the frequency P, its amplitude depends upon F by M and is not sensitive to the variation of P. So if applied force is very small, then the body will not respond to the applied force. For an applied periodic force of constant amplitude F, A will be a constant. Then what happens to the phase of the body? It is given by this equation. Alpha will be equal to tan inverse of, so you can see in this equation 2BP I said is a very small number, almost equal to 0. So since this is equal to 0, so tan inverse of 0, that is 0. What this means is, since alpha is 0, the displacement and the force applied will be in same phase. Then the next case is when P is equal to omega. So when P is equal to omega, here this term becomes equal to 0. So what happens to the amplitude is A is equal to F by M, square root of 4 B square P square will be 2 BP. This can be written as F by M by 2. We know B is nothing but R by 2M and omega. So this 2 cancels here. So I can rewrite this equation as F by R omega. That is the amplitude. What happens to alpha? Alpha is equal to tan inverse of 2BP by, we know P is equal to omega. So this becomes 0. So that will be tan inverse of infinity. That will be equal to pi by 2. This means that there is no square on omega which is in the denominator. Here the amplitude will have the highest value under this condition for a given damping force. Since this is a small number, amplitude will be a large number. This is actually a condition called resonance, which we will discuss separately later. Alpha is equal to pi by 2 indicates that the displacement has a phase lag of pi by 2 with respect to the phase of the applied force. Then the third case is when P is greater to omega. In this case, the significance is only when the damping forces are very small, that is B is very small. So when P is very large when compared to omega, omega square minus P square whole square will be almost equal to P square whole square. So what happens in the equation of amplitude A is equal to F by M square root of 4 B square P square plus omega square minus P square whole square will be P to the power 4. So as P keeps increasing, A becomes very, very small. Since B is a very small number, we can write 4B square P square is very less when compared to P to the power 4. So this implies that amplitude A is equal to F by M square root of p to the power 4, or in other words I can write this as f by m divided by p square. Then what happens to the phase alpha? Alpha is equal to tan inverse of 2bp by omega square minus p square. So in this case we know that omega square minus p square is almost equal to p square. So this becomes equal to tan inverse of 2bp by p square, where this is a larger number, so minus symbol remains over here. So I can write this as tan inverse of 2b by minus p. Since b is very small, 2b by p is equal to 0, and that's why alpha will be equal to tan inverse of minus of 0, which will be pi. So as p becomes larger, the displacement develops a phase lag that approaches the value of pi with respect to the phase of the applied force. The next topic what we are going to discuss is resonance. So when we discussed about dependence of amplitude and phase on the frequency of the applied force, we studied a case where p is equal to omega, and we discussed about what will be the amplitude, and I said that there is a condition called resonance taking place in. So let us discuss in detail about that condition. So what is resonance? Resonance is the state where when the frequency of a periodic force acting on a vibrating body is equal to the natural frequency of the vibration of the body, and the energy transfer from the periodic force to the body becomes maximum, because of which the body will vibrate with maximum amplitude. Or in other words, we can also say that when natural frequency becomes equal to the applied frequency, the body vibrates with maximum amplitude. This condition is called as resonance. Let us again consider a body of mass m vibrating in a resistive medium of damping constant R under the influence of an external periodic force F sin pt. So in that case, if omega is the natural frequency of the body, then amplitude is given by the equation f by m square root of 4b square p square plus omega square minus p square whole square, where b is r by 2m. Now if the amplitude has to become maximum in resonance, the denominator has to become minimum. In order for the denominator to become minimum, there are two conditions which has to be possible. One condition is either b, that is equal to r by 2m, has to be minimum, or the second condition is p has to become equal to omega. So in this equation, if the denominator has to become minimum, either b should be small or omega should be equal to p, so that this becomes 0. So this denominator becomes minimum. Let us see theoretically how we can prove these two conditions. So in order to prove that, we know that as per rules of differential calculus, the differential coefficient of any function will become 0 both at its maximum and its minimum. Hence, let us see what is the differential coefficient of this function to become minimum. Differentiate the denominator with respect to p, 4b square p square plus omega square minus p square whole square, and we know the differential coefficient is minimum of this function, so it should be equal to 0. So on differentiation, we can get this as differentiation with respect to p, that is 2p is the differentiation of p square, so it becomes 8b square p minus the differentiation of this equation will be 2 omega square minus p square, and the differentiation of this will be 2p is equal to 0. On further simplification, you can see this is 4p and here also there is 8p. So I can take 4p as common. So it becomes 2b square minus omega square minus p square is equal to 0, or I can write this as 2b square minus omega square minus p square is equal to 0, or p square is equal to omega square minus 2b square. It is clear from this equation that the denominator reaches its minimum when p square is equal to omega square minus 2b square. Further, we can see that if b is very small, then p square becomes equal to omega square, or p is equal to omega. So these two conditions have been theoretically proved over here. So what happens to the equation of the amplitude? A max, which will be equal to f by m by square root of 4b square. P is nothing but omega, so I'll write omega square, and this becomes equal to 0, or I can write this as f by m by 2b omega. Or I can also substitute for b is equal to r by 2m, so I can write this as f by m by 2 into r by 2m into omega, or I can write this as 2 cancels and m cancels, f by r omega. So this is the condition for maximum amplitude, and this state is called as resonance. So what is the significance of resonance? So here the reason for the amplitude to go to maximum value is when omega becomes equal to p, because only when the two frequencies are matched, that is the natural frequency of the body and the applied frequency, the system will possess the ability to keep the same phase as that of the periodic force at all times, and therefore the vibrating system will have the ability to receive completely the energy delivered by the periodic force. So there is a maximum exchange of energy taking place between the body which is undergoing vibrations and the external body which is providing the force. So there will be no phase difference, they are in phase and they will exchange maximum energy between each other. So some examples for resonance can be given as Helmholtz resonator, or a radio receiver set tuned to the broadcast frequency of a transmitting station. If we have to receive a particular frequency, say 92.7, then our device also should be tuned to the same, so that the receiver set is tuned to the broadcast frequency of the transmitting station. Or we can also give the examples as the vibration caused by the exciting tuning fork in an other nearby identical tuning fork, and so on. Knowing what is resonance, next let us discuss about sharpness of resonance. We know that when applied frequency becomes equal to the resonant frequency, when they match, the body vibrates with maximum amplitude. And this process of varying the frequency of applied force to match the resonant frequency of the body is called as tuning. So you can see in the graph here, so when omega becomes equal to p, the body vibrates with maximum amplitude. As you deviate away from the natural frequency, that is, if you reduce the applied frequency or increase the applied frequency than the natural frequency of the body, the amplitude steeply decreases. Then what is sharpness of resonance? It is the rate at which the amplitude changes corresponding to a small change in the frequency of applied external force at the stage of resonance. So if I vary a little applied frequency, then by what amount the amplitude changes is called as the sharpness of the resonance. To discuss this, let us consider the equation for the amplitude, and we know that at resonance the amplitude is maximum, and that is given by f by m by 2b omega. This is at resonance. What happens near resonance? Near resonance, we can write the amplitude as p very close to omega. P is not equal to omega, but p very close to omega. So I can write this equation as F by m by 2b p. Then what is the change in the amplitude is equal to A max minus A, or I can write this as F by m 2b omega minus F by m 2b p. Here F by m is common and 2b is also common, so I can write this as F by m by 2b into 1 by omega minus 1 by p, or on further simplification I can write this as F by m by 2b p minus omega by omega p, that is F by m p minus omega by 2b omega p. So sharpness of resonance is change in amplitude to change in frequency. So change in amplitude is given by F by m p minus omega by 2b omega p divided by change in frequency is p minus omega. So that is equal to F by m by 2b omega p. So this gives the sharpness of resonance. If you observe this equation, you can see that the sharpness of resonance depends inversely on the value of b, or in other words, the rate at which the change in amplitude occurs near the resonance depends upon the damping. For small damping, the rate is high and the resonance is said to be sharp, and for heavy damping it will be low and the resonance said to be flat. If you observe the graph over here, the sharpness of resonance depends upon the value of b. Small value of b, larger is the sharpness. That is what is observed over here. So when b is 1, you can see the curve is sharper. As it increases, the curve becomes flatter. And b is equal to 0 is not possible in practice. So that's why we have put it in the dotted form. That is in ideal case where the curve will meet at infinity. So if b becomes equal to 0. So that is what you see the effect of damping on the resonance. So as the value of p goes away from omega, you will see that the amplitude goes on decreasing, and the decrease is large when you have less value of b. Those are the two conditions what we discussed for resonance. So the significance of sharpness of resonance can be discussed as the amplitude of oscillation of an oscillating body or a system rises to maximum when the frequency of external periodic force matches the resonant frequency of oscillating system. However, the rise of the amplitude will be very sharp when the damping is very small. Next, there is a term which we have to define called as quality factor. It can be defined as 2 pi times the ratio of energy stored in a system to the energy lost per period. So it can be written as Q is equal to 2 pi times the energy stored in the system to the energy lost, which is given as P into T, where P is the power, T is the time period. It can also be defined as the number of cycles required for the energy to fall off by a factor of e power 2 pi. You can also write this quality factor as Q is equal to E omega by P, or you can also write this Q as equal to omega times tau, or you can also write this Q to be equal to omega by 2b. So this you will be normally using for problems. Here high value of Q means the damping of oscillation system is low. Q is the measure of extent to which the oscillator is free from damping. For an undamped oscillator, Q is infinite. One of the application of mechanical resonance is Helmholtz resonator. This is a vessel which has a large opening on one side called a mouth, which is denoted as A, and there is another narrow opening which is denoted as B, called as neck. this is a vessel which is normally used to analyze the quality of musical notes. So the end B is held near the ear with the end A open for the entry of the air carrying the musical note. We know there is air inside this vessel or the Helmholtz resonator. When musical notes are coming from outside, the air inside the Helmholtz resonator is set for vibrations. And we know the air inside the Helmholtz resonator has its own natural frequency. So when many frequencies come from outside, that is from the musical notes, for a one particular frequency, this air inside the Helmholtz resonator will vibrate with maximum amplitude. That is when the frequency of this natural frequency of this air here inside matches with the one of the frequencies coming from the musical note, and because of this a small part of the air leaks through B, which is held near the ear, and that is heard. Thus the resonator is said to be resonating for the note of that one particular frequency among the different musical frequencies. So you can find out that particular frequency among the different frequencies which are coming inside the Helmholtz resonator. So for different frequencies to be found out, you have Helmholtz resonators made of different sizes. So it can be shown that the square of the natural frequency of oscillation is inversely proportional to the volume of the resonator V, or you can write omega square to be equal to K by V, where K is the proportionality constant in order to remove the proportionality symbol, or K is equal to omega square V. So for different volume, you have different amount of air inside the Helmholtz resonator which will have different natural frequency, and you can determine that particular frequency by setting the air inside the Helmholtz resonator for vibration.